Now on Coast TV News.
Atlantic Field's approval, the first step towards building a Costco and Target on 24, but it's not a done deal yet.
Tensions in Georgetown.
There's just too much, homeless.
Blowback at town council over those on the street.
Lewis rental rules.
I only see negative repercussions.
Property owners say plans to encourage affordable units are backfiring.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Homeless on the train tracks in Georgetown. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight with a group of Georgetown locals saying homelessness is out of control.
At a town council meeting this week, over 1 hour was spent on public comment, with a majority of comments claiming a homeless problem has taken over town. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Georgetown. Brandon, a nonprofit in town helping the homeless, says there is a problem.
Maddie, we're just around 3 minutes away from the center of Georgetown, and behind me is the Pallet Village. Now, the Pallet Village homes 40 people that were previously homeless. And I want you to follow me this way across the property of the Pallet Village. Look across this field and look at that brown building. On the ground near the brown building is the train tracks that go through Georgetown. And at this week's council meeting, people said on those train tracks is where most of the homeless population is. Things got heated during this week's town council meeting in Georgetown.
Every day I ride by the police station and all those new cars are in the parking lot. If they were out and visible, half of this wouldn't be happening.
The topic? Homelessness.
The problems of homelessness and addiction in this town get worse every single day. And what has our leadership done? They've allowed it to happen.
Walter Kinsler has lived in Georgetown for over a year. He says he sees homeless individuals.
All the time. There's just too much, homeless.
The Shepherd's Office and Springboard Pallet Village are two different organizations, but they have a common goal to help the homeless with food, resources, and at the Pallet Village, housing. Program manager for Springboard Delaware, Trish Hill, says she understands concerns.
There's panhandling, there's different trash along the tracks, things like that.
But it's hard to solve the problem during what she calls a housing crisis.
I think there's more opportunity for collaboration between those who are opposing, homelessness and the spaces.
All sides agree there is a problem, but how to address that problem is still unknown. In a meeting last month, Georgetown Mayor Bill West says, quote, "We all know there's a problem with homelessness and we all need to get on the same page." When we reached out to Bill West today about a comment, we did not hear back. Live in Georgetown, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
And a committee was created in September by the Georgetown Town Council to tackle supportive housing issues and homelessness. That committee is looking at existing local resources like transitional housing, recovery centers, and reintegration programs to better support people facing serious life challenges. The goal isn't to add more of those houses, but to improve how current ones are used and to ultimately get people off of the streets.
And rules could soon change for when people can sleep in the Georgetown Circle. Sleeping in the Circle currently banned from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., but now that ban could be extended sunset to sunrise. At the first reading of an ordinance, no action was made. All of this brings us into our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what should Georgetown do next?
Let's take a look at the updated results from last news hour. Well, 62% say relocate the Pallet Village, 13% say build housing, 17% say increase patrols, and 8% say expand services.
And we have a comment from Susan in Georgetown. She says, "I think the services provided need to be monitored and reported to the residents of the town. More police presence might help in neighborhoods that seem targeted. I would hope that the progress that the village is making would be made public, and if it's not working, why?" If you haven't voted yet, you still can at coasttv.com or use the mobile app. Plus, we will show you updated results tonight on Coast TV News at 11.
Due to the storm hitting the coast hard this past week, crews from Denrec made their way to Bowers Beach today, clearing off some larger debris, most noticeably trees that got knocked over during the storm. That was then. This is now as we take a live look into Ocean City. Look at that
Gorgeous,
beautiful
just
view
beautiful
out there. Our first alert meteorologist, Bob Trihey, has a look at our weather. Good evening, Bob.
It was so nice to see that sunshine come back today after all that dreary weather. This evening, though, it's mostly cloudy and temperatures are cool into the 60s right now. 66 Georgetown, Rehoboth 66, the same for Lewis and Milton. As we're seeing a northwesterly breeze, not especially strong now, but once a cold front comes through tonight, it'll get stronger. Right now, winds gusting close to 15 miles per hour. As we're seeing lots of clouds, mostly cloudy skies, not expecting any rain with this cold front as it's pressing to the south, still off to our north right now. As Futurecast shows temperatures falling through the 60s this evening. As that front comes through, winds pick up out of the north and temperatures really dipping overnight. In fact, by tomorrow morning, we'll be looking at temperatures starting out in the 40s and 50s. So this evening with falling temperatures and those winds picking up, make sure you really bundle up. Much more on the fall chill and what to expect this weekend coming up a little bit later on.
On your screen now is Route 24 and Mulberry Knoll Road, an area west of the Walmart on Coastal Highway, where developers want to build a huge shopping center.
And new tonight, Sussex County Planning and Zoning is recommending approval for a zoning change to bring major retailers here like Costco, Target, and Whole Foods. Coast TV News reporter and anchor Christina DeRobertis is live in Lewis. Christina, County Council still gets the final say.
Yes, Maddie, it's not a done deal yet, but today the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 4-1 to recommend that zoning change. And now developers are one step closer to building a 700 square foot commercial space on all of this land behind me. Take a look at this land, and now we're going to show you a look at those development plans. Atlantic Fields. It includes 73 acres with those stores we've been telling you about, Costco, Target, Whole Foods. Now, commissioners who voted in favor of the zoning change today say this project falls in line with Sussex County's plan for future growth. They say it's not uncontrolled development, but some people who live in the area that we spoke with today say they're just not on board.
I think something half the size of the Christiana Mall going in on this little tiny secondary road, country road, is just irresponsible development. There's could be much better uses for community space.
Now, the one commission member who voted against the zoning change said his reasoning was traffic, and he does not feel confident that DelDOT is going to make the necessary improvements here. Back to you guys.
Christina. In Lewis, here's a look at an accessory dwelling unit, which is when a main house and a second independent living space sit on the same property. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live in Lewis. Emma, the Lewis Planning Commission is discussing right now how these ADUs are regulated.
Charlie, right now in the building behind us, the Lewis Planning Commission is hearing from the public about the requirement that property owners must live in one part of an ADU. We spoke with two women earlier who are speaking in the meeting, and they say the existing ADU rule just isn't fair.
Accessory dwelling units, or ADUs for short, are often seen as an affordable housing option. But in a beach town like Lewis, the city says there's several existing ADUs where both units are being used as short-term rentals. The city says those people are breaking the rules because, according to code, the property owner must live in one of the units. But that wasn't Martha Good's understanding when she bought a Lewis property with 2 existing units, and now she hopes the city grandfathers in existing ADUs like hers.
They only see negative repercussions. So decreasing the value of the current homes, decreasing the number of rental units on the market. The city charges a rental tax to every rental property in the city of Lewis. So if you're saying we can't rent them, that's also going to decrease the amount of rental tax that they're bringing in.
Realtor Lee Ann Wilkinson wrote a letter to the Lewis Planning Commission and says the ADU ordinance needs to be looked at closer to make things more fair.
If you don't count the duplexes, if you don't count the townhouse communities, condo communities, those all are allowed to be rented as short-term rentals, all of them. So why does this poor little 2.6% of our homes not get the same rights that everybody else has?
For now, the city works to strike a balance, while some property owners are still on the fence.
Wilkinson says based on her findings, the ADU ordinance, which was adopted over a year ago, actually hasn't produced any applications to date, which she says is a sign that the rules may be too strict. Reporting live here in Lewis, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
24 acres of land in Milton are up for consideration to be a new subdivision. The Tepache Farms project was in front of Sussex County Planning and Zoning, but a decision was deferred. The landowner wants to add 21 homes to Burton Road. A member of the Burton family said at a previous meeting that the neighborhood was advertised as Burton Meadows once, and that was not approved by the family. Meanwhile, other current neighbors say the development will cause problems for the environment.
I'd like to have been notified before somebody goes sticking my name on something. It's not a very good idea, and that really put me more against it than I already was.
The farmer that owned this land previously would have never have thought that you could build homes onto this property, knowing that this land is low-lying, wet, and it also drains into a local clear water stream.
Now, Coast TV reached out to the owner of the property, James Grant, but he declined to comment on this project. And we're just getting started this evening.
It's safety first in Milton, why the mayor calls this crosswalk a concern and how a grant from DNREC is seeking to improve it.
We're seeing a lot of clouds out there this evening as a cold front is headed our way. A live look into Milford showing temperatures falling through the 60s into the 50s with those clouds this evening. Much cooler for the end of the week, an outside chance of frost. Your full forecast coming up in a few minutes.
But first, a message of hope and healing. How La Red Goes Purple is helping the community when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Making a difference in the fight against substance abuse. People in Delaware gathering Wednesday at La Red Health Center for the annual La Red Goes Purple event, connecting people to resources and recovery support.
Coast TV News reporter Nicole Richter shows us how community members, advocates, and local organizations are working together to address addiction.
La Red Health Center, a powerful message emerged.
I believe that it's what my purpose is.
One of hope, resilience, recovery, and second chances.
Recovery changes people. It changes the whole trajectory of people's lives.
At La Red Goes Purple, organizations, advocates, and community members were doing their part to battle the health crisis that is drug addiction by offering a hand to hold and a reminder that no one has to walk the road alone. Casey West says she's in recovery, and the event marks a full circle moment. She's now using her experience to guide others toward healing.
It's what I was put here to do, to help other people that were in the position that I was in a long time ago.
With a handful of different organizations on hand today, all of them echoed one idea: that breaking through stigmas is one of the biggest challenges because addiction isn't restricted by borders, race, or class.
Maybe it's not you, maybe it's not your kids, maybe it's their friends or your neighbors, and to just be more aware of kind of the bigger picture.
And while putting a drug or drink down is an important step, true recovery goes deeper.
On one hand, it's all of their trauma and all of the stuff that they've been through in life, and then on the other hand, it's everything that they want to accomplish but don't know how to actually do it.
Events like this one are designed to build that bridge between where someone is and where they hope to go. And for many, that journey starts with one simple truth: they are not alone.
And as you can see behind me here, this event is not just about raising awareness, it's about connection, from families sharing their experiences to healthcare workers offering help. La Red Goes Purple is reminding the community that recovery takes all of us. In Georgetown, I'm Nicole Richter, Coast TV News.
Coming up next, Bob Trihey in the Coast TV First Alert Weather Center. Your full forecast after this.
After all that gloomy weather we saw with the coastal storm, so nice to see that sunshine today. And temperatures a little warmer too. 70 in Georgetown, not bad. 71 Ocean City, Wallops Island 72, with Cambridge and Easton both at 72 degrees. Here's our storyline. We've got some changes on the way. We've got a cold front sliding through this evening. We have a lot of clouds, not expecting anything in the way of rain, but temperatures falling from the 60s into the 50s and winds gusting over 20 miles per hour. Make sure you bundle up up as it's going to be chillier Thursday and Friday with wall-to-wall sunshine. I think the winds stay up at night to really prevent anything in the way of frost, but it's still going to be cold. But right now, not too bad. Temperatures into the mid-60s, 66 Georgetown, Bethany Beach 67, as is Indian River Inlet. We've got a northwest breeze right now, not especially strong, but that'll start to pick up as we go through the overnight as that front comes through. Right now, gusting to 18 at the coast and pretty light inland areas. Here's a satellite picture. You can see lots of clouds all across Delaware. As a matter of fact, really much of Delmarva seeing mostly cloudy skies as that cold front is getting closer. Now, it looks like it's been across the New York area for about the last 3 hours. I think it's a little farther south than this, and behind that front, it's going to be much cooler with chilly high pressure building in across the Great Lakes, and we'll see that northerly flow really kicking in late tonight into the next couple of days. And because of the wind, small craft advisory, Delaware Bay and the ocean as well until Friday evening. That's also the case for the Maryland shore, and for the bays also a small craft advisory until Friday evening. And this evening, temperatures falling from the 60s into the 50s by about 10 p.m. You see those arrows getting a little longer as that northerly breeze kicks in. By 1 a.m., we're in the 50s, and it's going to be chilly out the door tomorrow morning. Mid-40s in Delmar, 48 in Selbyville, with 50s at the coast. And then into Thursday afternoon, we're looking at temperatures cool into the low 60s. Lots of sunshine, but it's going to be deceiving because it's going to be awfully chilly and breezy, and pretty chilly heading into Friday morning. In fact, look at this, interior areas into the low 40s. But because we'll have a bit of a breeze, I think that will prevent frost, but maybe protect your plants anyway Friday morning. And then by Friday afternoon, still chilly with temperatures in the low 60s and gusty winds as we go into tonight, gusting close to 30 miles per hour and over 20 inland areas. And it remains quite breezy right through your Friday as we're looking at rain chances increasing not until Sunday and Monday as an area of low pressure heads our way. Some of that rain could be heavy on into Monday, but then it moves through pretty quick. 44 tonight, chilly and breezy, mostly clear. 61 tomorrow. Paul Davis 7-day forecast warming up into the weekend. 73 Sunday, rain later Sunday into Monday. And congratulations to Tyler Powell from Ocean View on winning a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
Milton Town Council is looking to improve safety at the Rails to Trails crossing on Federal Street. Council approved a grant application to DenRec for $83,000 with plans to straighten the sidewalk, remove sign clutter, and add a flashing beacon. Mayor John Collier called the current crosswalk a concern, and town officials say it is a top safety priority.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Hump Day. We're still grinding through the week to get to the weekend, but UD fans, you are in for a treat tonight. The Blue Hens are on ESPN for a Conference USA football clash. This is the first time Delaware will play on an ESPN nationally televised game since they took on South Dakota State in the FCS semifinals in 2021. This is also the first time Delaware will face Jacksonville State since May 2nd of 2021 when the two teams met in the FCS quarterfinals. Delaware has had 2 weeks to prepare for this game coming off of a bye week. The last time the Blue Hens were in action, they lost to Western Kentucky in front of the largest home crowd at Delaware Stadium since 2018, 27-24. Now quarterback Nick Minicucci and the Hens will try to bounce back against the Gamecock squad that is 2-0 in Conference USA so far and led by Kentucky transfer Gavin Wimsatt. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. A win would surely vault UD up the Conference USA standings as they hope to continue making history in their first ever FBS season. That'll do it for now for sports. Have a great night, everyone.
Grab a heavier jacket out the door this evening. A cold front coming through. Temperatures dipping into the 40s by tomorrow morning. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, only lower 60s Thursday and Friday. I think enough of a breeze at night where we won't see frost, but awfully chilly lower 40s. Warming up into the weekend. It looks like our next rain chance comes later Sunday into next Monday, and then dry and kind of pleasant after that.
I like all the sunshine.
It's those early morning temperatures, though, that got me.
It's going to be chilly.
All right, thank you, Bob, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.